Give it to me like.
Welcome to Cocktails for Breakfast. I'm your host, Bailey.
I'm your host, Sophie.
And we're excited for today.
Yeah, so I think today we had a really good conversation the other day. And we were talking about, supportive husbands in the business. Because sometimes through conversations with our team, we hear like when some of the women on our team start their business and it comes from a place where sometimes either the husband is not that into it at the beginning or they are. And I think that can make a difference when you start your business through your journey with it. And we're here to talk about it. We're here to bring that up.
Yeah, I think it's more common than not. Once and for all. Oh my gosh, for one. But I think having a supportive partner, like, I guess the thing I kind of think about is like, oh, I don't need my partner to be supportive. But because a lot of people will say like, oh, I'll accomplish it anyways. But imagine you had a supportive partner, how much more damage you could do in your business in a good way. Just like how much more support, how much further you could take it. And I know for me, like, I just happen to be blessed with a husband who supports me in every venture because I've done so many.
Yeah.
We've done real estate, then we did hair, then I had a hair salon in my basement, then I did Monat, and then I was like, well, I'm going to go move to my friends and open up a salon there. He's just along for the ride. But the best part is he's just so supportive. He's like, you go for it. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to cheer you on. And I'm like, what would it be like if I didn't have someone like that in my corner? And I know many women don't.
Yeah,
What's your take?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that when you do have a supportive husband, it just helps your creative flow too, because you don't feel like you're in a like reactive position where you always have to defend your ideas or you always have to defend your decisions when it comes to kickstarting your business, where you want to taking, even like dreaming. Having that exchange with your husband where, he comes from a place of letting you fly. And when you have that, and I think what I want to say specifically is that you sit down with your partner, you tell him or her that what your intentions are with this business. You dream together. Yeah. That's a huge, huge thing, because you have to make place for your dreams and you have to make place for what you want to do with this business, but also like they need to be heard too. Might not look the same as what you're doing. What do you think about that, the dreaming together portion?
It's funny because I was listening to Ed Milet and Jay Shetty, I think. That was a podcast.
Yes.
And of course I told my man, I'm like, you gotta listen to this podcast. I think he did. But basically, he was talking about how he loves goals, but his wife doesn't. And I relate to that because I'm very goal-oriented. I'm very much in that mindset of like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to figure it out. Like, my goal has been the same every year, which is turn $1 million in a year. It's my same goal for a decade. Every year, I'm like chasing that goal. Like my husband's goal is, he's like, I don't set goals. And I took a lot from that episode because he was saying like, he's very goal driven, or like, how do I want to help, it's him. Like, how do I want to impact the world and this and that? Like, what do I want to do? And his wife wants to be with family, and how's she going to spend her time? And so I think too, like sometimes your partner just isn't as goal driven as you, and that's okay. That is totally fine. But I think you can still dream of like how you want your life to go. And I feel like I definitely, for myself speaking, I live out in like La La Land because I truly believe it will happen. Where my hubby's a lot more rooted and grounded, which is great. You got to have both. If we're both big dreamers, probably nothing would happen at all.
Yeah.
But I think the whole point of being with a partnership is that you're building a life together and understanding. The guy said, I'm so glad you told me that. Like, I just assumed you had goals too. But he's like, yeah, not really. Like, I'm sure he has goals, but not the way I have them.
Yeah.
And I think that's so cool because we both can take up the same space and support each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be either or.
No, and that's the beautiful thing about it too, is that it's the end game. And we talked about this like before, like I think it was last year or something. We did a few stories on that are real. But I think when it comes to Chris and I specifically, is there for him, it's like an end game. It's like his vision of what he wants our future to look like. And there's a cottage, there's kids running around, there's, like living by the lake. There's always that vision, right? And that's his end game. And we need to take the necessary action to get to that place, right? So I'm more of like goal oriented, that I'm like, I'm going to do as much as I can right now so that we can get to that vision that we both have at the end of the day, that we share our end game that's together, and all their crazy projects we have in our heads. But it's like dreaming together is so important. And sometimes it's seasons of flow. Like I right now am in the greatest season of my life when it comes to my business. I feel like everything's kind of like falling into place. It feels like I'm just, flowing through it. I mean, it takes work, but I do truly feel that right now I'm in a really good spot. And sometimes the other partner, they're in challenging like season in their work. And we're going to throw that ball specifically for Chris and I. It's like, it seems to be always one side or the other when it comes to, but I feel like inspiration is key. So him seeing that I'm working through my stuff and I'm having all these ideas, and I think sharing those ideas with your partner, like it's like sprinkling some inspiration on your conversations, and that allows them to dream as well. And that allows them to like really like get uncomfortable with what they want too.
We're throwing the men under the bus today.
Yeah, we are.
We're not under the bus, but you're part of the combo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's a lot to unpack. It's crazy too, because like I truly think there's never 50-50. And I hate nothing more than this relationship concept of 50-50.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Any single women. Men always pay on the first date.
Yeah.
Okay? If they don't, it's a red flag. But it isn't like that. Sometimes it's 80-20. Sometimes it's 60-40.
Yeah.
Like there's seasons where my husband is so much busier than I am, or we're both really busy.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, what has to get done? Make sure there's food in the house, roof over the head, the kids are taken care of. And then, sometimes we don't make that time for ourselves. And then you got to go back, you got to date your partner again and all that stuff and dream together to say, okay, this is why we're making these sacrifices, because we're trying to move the needle forward. Yeah. Right. So I don't know. It's a dancing game.
It is a dancing game. And I feel like in the past, whether that, when our parents were growing up and they were seeing their parents interact, and I feel there was always some like either dreams that were shut down because of situations or, people were not, I just feel, and this could be a judgment, but I feel like back in the day, like dreaming and actually like putting yourself out there when it comes to crazy ideas or launching stuff or startups, it wasn't as encouraged because people were living in the fear of like, I need to make that money. I need to make sure I have my retirement safe, like all my, like it was more of, I don't know.
Safe.
It was a safe, like,
well, and
concept.
Then that ties into what we're talking about, like generational.
Big time.
I'm looking over here. Generational cycles. Because that's something I grew up with. I felt a lot, which you and I have talked about before, where I just felt like in my household that no one was chasing. They were held back a lot by, I don't want to say fear, but change.
Yes.
Possibly. Or just that idea you get married and then you got to settle, which I think a partnership should be there's two people, two earnings, two people, two minds, double hours in the day. Like you should actually be able to like tag team and accomplish more. Yeah. But I think that's what really drives me. Because like I look back and I'm like, I don't want that to be me. I want the total opposite. I'm like, that's not happening over here. I'm going to keep going because our children also learn through what we do, not what we say. So if they see I'm running and wanting to go for the things I want in life, or me and my husband are, trying to do together, then it also sets a precedent for them, their future relationships, right? And on top of that, if my son really wants to be a soccer player, he's like, I'm gonna be the next Messi, mom, the next Ronaldo. I'm like, you can do it. Yeah. But if I'm not chasing my stuff, then he's going to be like, she's a liar. She's telling me I could do anything. But here she is, not doing anything, not chasing her things, talking about all her dreams and not applying any action.
Yes.
So I think like there's so many layers to why it's so crucial to be supportive partner, whether, you know, your partner looks like, but especially when you have kids in the picture, because I want my kids to say like, my daddy loved his mom. Like, my mommy so much, and he was always cheering her on. I think that has more of an impact than we realize.
Huge impact.
Yeah.
Like
it's
huge. It's big. And that's the thing. The kids are always watching. They're always listening. And I think that you said it so perfectly. We are setting the examples for them. We are breaking the generational cycles where it was always like the weight was always on that one person to provide, and it was always on that person to like work so physically hard. But at the end of the day, like, I would love to like sit my parents down separately and ask them, what were your dreams?
Yeah.
Because I invite you guys, if you have a good relationship with your parents, to like sit them down, not together, because I still feel sometimes that, people
it's a touchy subject.
It's a touchy subject. Sure. I would love to just sit with them separately. I kind of have an idea what they would tell me, but Mom, like, what were your dreams when you were in your 30s? Dad, what were your dreams when you were in your 30s? And that would be fun.
You know what's funny too, and we've had this conversation before, is what do you vision your parents when you think about them? Because like I vision my mom at my age. Well, I'm 36, but when I think about my mom, I think about her as 38 and 39.
Yeah.
Like when I think about my childhood, my mom's 38 in my mind, or 39, and I'm like, man, I'm coming up to that age, and I think I don't really know much. Like I'm still like, I feel like I've noticed with you, you're in like just this flow. I said that to you the other day. I'm like, and I can't wait to be in my 40s because I just feel like it's going to open to like a Pandora's
I'm not 40
box.
Yet, guys, but
no,
getting there.
Sorry, we're both approaching. Okay, the late side of 30s. Oh my gosh, what was I going to say? Oh yes. So I also feel like sometimes there's also some like grace and understanding because I already thought like I knew myself. But lately I'm like, wow, no, I don't. And just she was raising me like I'm raising my kids at this exact age. So it just kind of puts things into perspective and like, wow, there's still so much life.
Yeah.
Still so much life to live and just shit to go after.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't imagine just sitting back, just being like, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And it's yeah. So, when it comes to it's supportive family. Like whether you're living with your sister or, or with your partner or whatever, I think like having that supportive individual in your life, system is key to your business. And if there's something that you feel that they're not, then you owe it to yourself and you owe it to your future and you owe it to your dreams to have that crucial conversation with your partner or whoever you're sharing your life with about where you're going with this business or where you're going with this vision, because there's nothing that kills a relationship more than resentment and unspoken truths.
Oh my God, it's like my worst fear in life.
Me too. I'm like, don't hold it in, guys. You got to talk about it.
And like being like, that's what drives us. Like the idea that we missed out because we're too afraid to take the leap, or
FOMO.
we just, we let what some person said in our head, or like, you know what I mean? Just that idea of like, I didn't do it. I guess that's kind of summing up what I was saying of just like, just not going for stuff. Like looking back, wishing you did. Like no one like, come on, we all binge TikTok. No one when they ask people like, what's your greatest regret? None of it is like, I wish I made more money, even though like I'm money driven. It's always like, I wish I didn't go after what I wanted. I wish I had created, I wish I had more freedom with how I was able to live my life and this and that. And it's just like, you're going to be old with your spouse eventually. That's going to be you. The kids I always think, the kids are going to leave the house. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just going to be me and my man. Like, I really hope that we've created this vision and worked together towards something. Because one day it's just going to be him and I in the house. And Yeah, like, because also when you do things together, you grow together.
Yeah.
And you build a solid relationship. It's not just having 2 roommates, which is also another fear of mine. We could literally do an hour on relationships. Not that ours are,
guys,
chef's
okay, there's
kiss.
no perfect,
But
relationship here. But I totally agree with you. I think that, getting on par with them and just having that open communication and hearing them out, and not, if their idea is crazy, well, it's still their idea. Like, don't ridicule it. Don't make fun of it. They need your support. They need you to cheer them on and take the pressure off of what if it fails, or what if it has success. Like, that's
and another thing to that, I feel like a lot of dudes, you don't have that like cheer squad like a lot of us ladies do.
True.
Right? Like, I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know and below.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's no team of just like rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
Like, there's an odd person, but in my eavesdropping, in my just listening and observing, I just feel like, there's very few like support systems that are cheering each other on there.
Yeah.
So sometimes we got to be that for our man.
Yep. I agree. So that's pretty much it for this episode. I think that was
I feel like we could keep going, but I feel like we're probably at like a good max.
Yeah.
Here, right?
What did you think about that episode, guys? I hope that you enjoyed that one.
All right. So we will check in with you, I guess, next Monday.
Yeah.
Right? New episode every single Monday. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Give it to me like.
Okay, so if you enjoyed this episode, you want to hear other things, I'd love for you to like, comment, and share, and tag a hoe.